Well, hey, just you. You're the only one that's on, because my other two cameras died. This is the same bay that I shot the how I got reported to Transport Canada, and I have lots of gas and time left, and I'm bored, and I figured I would shoot another video today. So here's video 2, even though you're watching them like a week apart probably. I haven't done circuits and emergency procedures in a while, so I thought I would do some emergency procedures in the circuit. So take off, pretend the engine quit, land straight ahead. Or take off, pretend the engine quit, and do the 180 turn back to the runway. Or on downwind, or whenever. So that's what I'm going to do. Dom is getting ready to take off, so I'm going to do normal circuits till he's gone. And then I'll do emergency stuff when there isn't anybody else in the pattern. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha taxiing into position on 3-1, Woodstock. So my other two cameras, it's just you, because my other two cameras are dead from, I've been flying for more than an hour already, so batteries died. That's the only one that has electrical power to it from the airplane. That's why it's going to be a one camera angle video, because even though you see the other cameras, they're not on, they dead. And we're going to start with a short field takeoff. So that's stick neutral, brakes on, full throttle, rotate at 40, actually we'll rotate at 35 and climb out at 45. Because single seat, or yeah, we'll do that. Let's see how she goes. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha departing 3-1, remaining in the pattern, Woodstock. So stick neutral, throttle to full, brakes off, I hit 35, rotate, climb out at 45. Going to do a power off landing. Engine quit, we immediately turn towards the runway. Keep the airspeed, in my case, 50 or better, because I'm solo. With my students, they'll know it's 55 or better. I don't mind going faster, but where I'm definitely high, I'm going to slip it a little bit. So we come in with opposite rudder to the stern. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, final for 3-1, touch and go, Woodstock. So there's a pretty decent slip. And touchdown. We'll go to full throttle. And get traffic, Alpha Julie Papa Hotel, entering the active area, runway 31, takeoff to runway 31, local flying, Woodstock. So that's what I'm going to do, just sort of a normal approach and landing, and then I'm going to do it short. I'll do a short field landing as good as I can, and I'm going to back taxi, come back, I'm going to go full throttle and take off, and then I'm going to, as soon as I start to come off the ground, I'm going to bring the throttle to idle, and I'm going to put the plane back on the runway straight ahead. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, final for 3-1, stop and go, Woodstock. So there's a good slip there. Feels like I'm not going to make it now. Keep my best glide speed at 50. Yeah, there it is. I lost it right at the end. That's okay though. Not bad. A little bit short. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, backtracking 3-1, Woodstock. Just a touch short of the numbers. I think I landed right on the line. But that was better. I didn't go too long. Now sometimes going too long is bad because you've only got so much field to land in. But sometimes being too short is bad. So that's why it's important when you're doing an off-field landing, if it's an emergency, you want to aim for a quarter to a third down the field. That way if you come in short, you're still in the field. And it's hard to go long then because you're back a ways. Alright, so this is going to be an aborted takeoff. We're going to go full throttle takeoff. As soon as I come off the ground, I'm just going to bring the throttle back to idle like the engine seized up on me. We're gonna level the nose, maintain our airspeed, glide it back down onto the runway, and then our backtrack.
What's on traffic, India Whiskey Alpha departing 3-1. It will be a practiced abort takeoff, Woodstock.
Alright, so there's full throttle. Coming off the ground, engine quit. Push the nose forward. And back on the ground. Apply the brakes as necessary. You can see how quickly you have to get that nose down. I was down to a pretty low airspeed. I think I flash stall like 40. And now the stall speed with just me on board is about 35-ish. So I still had 5 miles an hour to go. But at that slow airspeed, the plane sinks very quickly, even if it's not stalled, which is why it's important to get that nose down, get as much energy as you can, so you have the ability to flare without smacking it onto the runway. This one, we're going to climb up. We're going to do the aborted takeoff again, but it's going to be farther up, and we're going to have to land further down on the field. And then the third one we're going to do, we're going to go up high enough that if the engine quit, we'd have to land in the trees, and we'll practice that without actually landing in the trees. And then we'll do one where we can do the impossible turn, the 180-degree turn back to the runway. This is something that everybody has to do in their own plane. Just because my numbers work for me does not mean they will work for you. Alright, so this one we're going to climb up a little bit further, about treetop height, before I kill the engine, and then we'll land straight ahead.
What's on traffic, India Whiskey Alpha departing 3-1, practicing another aborted takeoff, Woodstock.
Alright, so everything is fine. We're taking off. Right about here, the engine goes, no, I don't want to. Push the nose forward. See how I got light in my seat? Got all kinds of airspeed, point right back down on the runway. When I'm almost there, just level off and let the plane touch down. Like, you really have to push that nose forward. I gotta really fix that nose wheel. It's been damaged ever since I landed on the island with Rod. I've got a new nose fork for it, but I haven't had time to do it the way they modify it so that it fits, so I'm just dealing with this. It's fine, it's not gonna break or anything, but it's just, it's shimmying and doing stupid stuff, so I'll fix that eventually.
What's on traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, backtracking 3-1, Woodstock.
So this one, we're gonna go up high enough that if the engine quit, we don't have enough runway left to land back on the runway, but we also don't have enough runway, or we don't have enough altitude to turn around and do the impossible turn and come back and land on the runway. So we're going to pretend like we're going to fly and land in the field down at the end, because that's what you want to do. You want to land within 30 degrees of your orientation in front of you, somewhere that's most suitable. Sometimes it's trees, and these types of trees, you want to land in them, it's okay. I mean, you're going to tear some fabric, probably bend some tubes, but you'll be all right. You got big trees like that, bigger trees, you want to pick the two biggest ones you can find and try to go right in between them. And then the wings will hit those. You're going to get thrown forward, but that's going to take a lot of the energy away, and it will hopefully allow you to sink to the ground a bit more slowly. Yeah, it's going to wreck your plane, but you're going to be alive. But we're not going to actually do that, of course. We're just going to pretend. Because it's still good practice. In my case, I've got a vegetable field down there that I can go into.
Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha departing 3-1 for yet another aborted takeoff practice, Woodstock.
Push the nose forward, I get light in my seat. Yeah, I got down to 40. And then in this case, I can't turn around. I actually have enough time to do a slip and land before I get to the end, but we're just going to pretend that we don't. We're just going to go straight ahead until we hit the trees. So we're just going to come back up, slowly introduce power again, and climb out. Alright, so this next one, I'm going to take off and I'm going to climb out at faster than VY. VY is my best rate of climb, which is about 50 miles an hour. My best angle of climb is about 45. I'm going to climb out at between 55 and 60 so that I don't have enough runway left to land if the engine quits, but I'm going to be high enough that I can actually turn around and land back on the runway in the opposite direction. There's 50 right on. There's some sink that we always get. Nope, short again. Oh well. I'll keep practicing.
Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, backtracking 3-1, Woodstock. Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, departing 3-1 with a simulated engine failure at altitude with a 180 turn back to the runway, Woodstock.
Nose forward to get my best glide speed. Check. Come around. Keeping the airspeed alive. There we go. There's 50. It's very important to be very conscientious of your airspeed when you are doing these turns at low altitudes. It is very easy to stall spin. You have to know your airplane.
Traffic in the vicinity of...
Alright, so like I was saying, you have to know your airplane. You can't just go ahead and do this. I've done that many times. I know what to look for. I know how the controls feel. You got to practice this in your own plane at a safer altitude. You have to practice it higher up so you know how the plane's going to react. So you know what to do when it happens down low. And then you really should practice it in real life, because if you practice something in real life with the option of just putting the engine back up and going around if it didn't work out, when you do start to figure out what altitude is the right altitude, it may save your life someday. It may let you get back on the runway without having to plow into the river. In my case, in that situation, if I had to land straight ahead, I'd be in the river, and that risks hypothermia, drowning, all those things. So there are some cases where that 180 turn, even though it induces high bank angles and low airspeeds, as long as you know your airplane and as long as you keep your stall speed, your airspeed way above your stall speed, which I did. I was no less than 45 and my stall speed's 35. I had 10 miles an hour to play with. You've got to practice these things. It may save your life. Don't do it right away though. You've got to build up to it. You don't do what I do just because you saw me do it. Go practice first. Get an instructor to practice with you. Alright, what are we doing this time? Takeoff, I don't know, regular circuit I guess? Oh no, we're going to do an engine failure on Downwind.
Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha, departing runway 31 with a simulated engine failure on Downwind. Woodstock.
I don't know which way I'm going to be landing yet, because I don't know when I'm going to fail the engine. With a downwind engine failure, you have to decide which way you're going to go. Are you going to land in the opposite direction, or are you going to complete more of the circuit and land in the correct direction? That depends on a lot of variables. How strong is the wind? Which direction is the wind? Is it a crosswind, a headwind, a tailwind? What's going on? And you have to be able to evaluate those variables very quickly to determine which way is it going to be safer to land the plane. How much runway do you have left behind you? How much runway do you have in front of you? So many things to consider. Here, obviously in this situation, you're going to land in the opposite direction because you have runway available in that direction. You can't continue the circuit and come back. If we're further down, and we'll go to the decision point. We'll see where that decision point is for me. Right now, I would still land in that direction. remember, I've got more than just the pavement. I've got an additional 1,000 feet back there. It's about here where I change my mind if the engine quits, and I'm landing that way instead. There's the engine quit. There's my airspeed. I want to maintain it. I'm still quite high. As I do my turn, I'm going to slip. I know I have runway left. What I could have done is continued in the opposite direction for a little while longer, so I had more runway at my disposal back here. That actually probably would have been the smarter decision. I should have kept going just a little bit further. Locked up the wheels.
Woodstock traffic, ND Whiskey Alpha, backtracking 3-1, Woodstock.
So the next one, I'm going to fail the engine a little bit sooner, so that I'm going to land in the opposite direction. And then the last one I'm going to do is fail it about the same spot, but I'm going to continue ahead straight for a little while before I do my turn. Or I'm going to do a more sweeping turn so that I'm still nice and close to the runway and over it, but I don't eat up so much runway trying to go back in the opposite direction. I'm going to try to conserve more runway on the ground. And actually on this one, just for fun, because we're down here anyway, let's do a short, soft takeoff on the grass, see if I can get off the grass before I get to the pavement. I've done this before. It's just fun to do. I have to trim some of these hedges back. Doesn't look like very much space. Let's see if it happens.
Woodstock traffic, ND Whiskey Alpha, departing 3-1, Woodstock.
Yeah, little ski jump off that bump there. Not quite. That's alright though. Alright, so I'm doing my turn. And this is actually a pretty hard spot to get the plane back down on the ground at this point, because you're going in the opposite direction and you should have a tailwind in this case, but it's really your only choice, and it's only my only choice, that's for sure. There's the engine dead, so I'm just going to transition back over towards the runway.
Woodstock traffic, ND Whiskey Alpha, simulated engine failure, returning to runway 13, Woodstock.
Remember, you have a tailwind in these situations, so you're gonna eat up ground faster. You gotta get down quickly. That's where slips come in really handy. You should know how to do a slip in your airplane. Alright, now we're gonna do one more. Then I think we're gonna be close enough to bingo fuel that we're gonna wanna put her back in the hangar. So I'm going to do another one of those downwind engine failures, but I'm going to go further. I'm going to resist the urge to turn towards the runway right away, because that is, of course, your first instinct, get back on the ground. But if you have to manage your airspeed and your altitude so that you have enough room to get on the ground once you get down there, sometimes you have to resist that urge to turn immediately towards the runway. So we're gonna see how that plays out.
Woodstock traffic, ND Whiskey Alpha, departing 3-1, Woodstock.
And let's climb out at VX. That's 40 miles an hour. It's actually like 42 or something like that. And I try to keep it between 40 and 45. As you can see, it's a good way to get up without covering a lot of ground. I don't technically climb faster, but I climb steeper, which
From here, Joe, we'll be crossing midfield, going to left now for 24 for stop and go.
Alright, so there's 1,000 feet. Put myself at cruise RPM. And so see here, this is that decision point where which way do I go if the engine quits? I don't have any other options besides the runway. So the engine quits. I need to get to best glide, but I need to not turn back towards the runway yet, because I need to be able to get back to it without running out of runway down there. So if I stay at my best glide speed, I should be able to judge when I can make my turn.
Woodstock traffic, Indy Whiskey Alpha, simulated engine failure, returning to the runway on 3-1, Woodstock.
So there, that looks better. See, I've got all kinds of airspeed now, and look how much more runway I have left. So instead of landing way down on the grass, I'm going to be able to put it back down on the pavement. Now obviously the grass is an option in my case, but you have to know your airport. You got to know what you got to deal with. So there you go. There are some emergency procedures in the circuit. Like I said, don't go out and practice these on your own right away, except for maybe the more benign ones. Talk to an instructor. Get some expert advice.
Woodstock traffic, Delta Julia Papa Hotel, about 1 mile to the west of the Trans-Canada, flying south at 2,000 feet. Woodstock.
Woodstock traffic, Indy Whiskey Alpha, backtracking, 3-1, Woodstock.
Like I was saying, go get some advice, go get some practice, go get some instructor, go do it right, do it safe. Don't go just practice it on your own. I don't want anybody getting hurt, but at the same time, I'd like to show you what the types of things are that you should be proficient as a pilot. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that. I hope the camera stayed on the whole time. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And I hope that this inspires you to go out and seek professional, expert advice and instruction and become a better pilot.
Woodstock traffic, India Whiskey Alpha is clear of the runway, Woodstock.
I'll see you in the next one.